Good morning. It's Tuesday, February 11th. Here's what we're working on this morning. President Donald Trump has ordered a 25% import tax on all steel and aluminum entering the U.S.
A measles outbreak in Norfolk, Haldimand, and Brant counties is growing with 37 confirmed cases.
And Paul Morris, the former PA announcer for the Toronto Maple Leafs, has died. Good morning, and thanks for joining us here on your Tuesday morning. I'm Emily Taylor. I'll be in for the week. And good morning, Brian. Good morning, Annette.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So like I told you yesterday, that Tuesday alarm is just like a little bit more difficult than that Monday alarm. Because Monday you wake up and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go. Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. Tuesday's like, okay, all right, where's the snooze? Same for you guys after all these years and these hours?
You know, I'm at the point now where I wake up before the alarm.
Yeah, I'm starting to wake up actually before the alarm as well.
Yeah, it just happens. You know, your body goes, I think it's time.
Yes,
Let's go.
Time to get up.
Yay.
And tomorrow we may have to get up even a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
when is the snow coming?
It looks like it's the snow that's going to settle in for tomorrow afternoon, actually. So it'll be a little bit later, but then it'll be overnight into Thursday morning where we could get that significant snowfall. We could get in excess of 15 centimeters. That's 6 inches, I can say that, without anybody coming and clobbering me. So yeah, over 15 centimeters, maybe even some freezing rain. So we have a storm approaching us, and that's going to happen late in the day tomorrow. And there are special weather statements all around southern Ontario talking about this, and I will explain the details coming up. Right now, it's a cold start to the morning. We are minus 12 with a wind chill of minus 15, and we're going to climb a little bit better today, minus 2, wind chill about minus 4. So we'll see some sunshine. Talk about that coming up. Want to look at the 403 and Waterdown Road? We usually do. That's our camera. That's doing fine at the moment. Not a lot to see right there. Same with most of our MTO traffic cameras. Here's the Red Hill Creek camera. Toronto-bound lanes away from us toward the Skyway. Here's the top of the Skyway. Toronto-bound again away from us. Looks good here. Now Toronto-bound towards us east of 4th. No problems on the roads this morning. We'll keep you posted. Weather and traffic, of course, coming up in a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Thanks so much, Brian. U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order slapping 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports, including Canadian products. Simone Gavras joins us in Hamilton with the latest reaction. Simone.
Good morning, Emily. Well, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was speaking to reporters this morning at the AI summit in Paris, reacting to these steel and aluminum tariffs and calling them unacceptable. He says that Canada will respond firmly if needed.
We will be working with the new administration over the coming weeks to highlight the negative impacts on Americans and Canadians of these unacceptable tariffs. We will also be working with our international partners and friends, and if it comes to that, our response, of course, will be firm and clear. We will stand up for Canadian workers, we will stand up for Canadian industries, and more Canadians will stand up for each other. This is a moment of pride, this is a moment of pulling together, this is a moment for Canada to be solid.
U.S. President Donald Trump signed the executive order last night. As he signed it in, he said, quote, "It's a big deal. This is the beginning of making America rich again." Now, the levies will go into effect March 12th. That's a week after Trump plans to hit Canada and Mexico with 25% tariffs across the board, as well as a 10% tax on energy. Now, the president and CEO of the Canadian Steel Producers Association says a repeat of Trump's tariffs would risk a return to the disruption and harm that was seen back in 2018 with those similar tariffs. The impact on the steel industry here in Hamilton alone would be significant, with the city's rich history in steel production. Figures show about 10,000 jobs in the city are directly tied to steel, mainly at Dofasco, Stelco, and National Steel Car. There's also about 40,000 spin-off jobs from the industry alone. Now, the president and CEO of the Canadian Chamber of Commerce also said, quote, "The news makes it clear that perpetual uncertainty is here to stay. Businesses and investors already feel on shaky ground with the 30-day tariff pause, and now our steel and aluminum industries, critical to the shared success of both the American and Canadian economies, are first into the fire." Now, Canadian premiers are going to be focusing on this Team Canada approach as they head to Washington this week, and they're hoping that Trump will drop these tariff threats once and for all. For now, Annette, back over to you.
Okay, thanks very much. Well, the Grand Dairy Public Health Unit has confirmed 15 more cases of measles in Norfolk County. That brings a total of 37 cases, including 32 children across the region, which includes Haldimand and Norfolk counties, Brantford and Brant County. All of the confirmed cases are recovering at home, and these new cases are linked to previous known exposures. You may have been exposed if you were at Houghton Public School, Delhi Community Health Center walk-in clinic, Walsingham Christian School, or the emergency department at Norfolk General Hospital earlier this month. The health unit has also issued nearly 3,000 suspension orders for students who are not up to date on their vaccines. They will take effect March 25th.
The third and final round of layoffs at Mohawk College are reportedly expected today. This round of layoffs are expected to impact faculty after cuts over the past 2 months saw nearly 200 administrative and support positions axed. Mohawk had announced the cuts were coming in November, following a projected $50 million deficit in their 2025-26 budget. The school points to the federal government's changes to limit international student visas, who make up a large portion of the student body. CHCH News has reached out to the college for more details.
A Hamilton veteran known as the living Lancaster legend has died.
Well, you can get scared, but it doesn't do you any good, so what the hell, eh? I mean, actually...
So that was Jack Finan on Remembrance Day 2015, speaking with Bob Cowan at the Canadian Warplane Heritage Museum. Finan was a pilot aboard Lancaster bombers during the Second World War, and he continued flying with the Royal Canadian Air Force until the 1960s. A little more than a year ago, at the age of 104, Jack was awarded the Legion of Honor, France's highest decoration, for his dedication and courage during the war. In a post on Facebook, the Canadian Warplane Heritage Museum says, quote, "This year's Remembrance Day service will not be the same without Jack in the front row." Jack Finan was 105.
A man's been arrested after what police describe as a series of chaotic and dangerous events in downtown Hamilton. It started Sunday afternoon when a man started a fire in the main lobby of the Salvation Army building on York Boulevard. That fire caused around $150,000 worth of damage. A short time later, police say the same man threatened security guards at nearby Jackson Square. Then police say he pulled an imitation gun and threatened to shoot people around him. A 27-year-old man faces several charges, including arson and assault with a weapon.
A new city housing building has opened in downtown Hamilton. The $28 million building on Bay Street North between Cannon and Barton has 55 units. It is part of a citywide plan to increase the number of affordable housing spaces. There's a mix of single and family units and a blend of affordable, rent geared to income, and moderately affordable rents.
These units really do make a difference for the people who live here, and it creates a community in this space that wasn't there before.
What was there before was an underused city parking lot. The new building is transit-oriented with a car share and bike share partnership.
Let's turn to sports now. Hamilton's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 31 points in 3 quarters as Oklahoma City routed New Orleans last night.
Down. Nice frontage pass that got deflected by Wiggins, and another Pelicans turnover.
Oh, that's a 4th steal of this first quarter.
Shai gets taken out of the 3. Gets it back to the Thunder.
Oklahoma City hit a franchise record 27 three-pointers, despite no individual player making more than 4. Aaron Wiggins scored 24 points, and Jalen Williams added 16 for the Thunder, who won their 6th straight game. Oklahoma City improved to an NBA best 43-9, while the Pelicans dropped to a Western Conference worst. That's 12-41.
Sidney Crosby says he's good to go for Canada at the Four Nations Face-Off tournament. He was hurt in one of Pittsburgh's final games before the NHL break. Crosby was skating with reigning league MVP Nathan MacKinnon and 2023 Stanley Cup winner Mark Stone at practice. Coach John Cooper stopped short of saying that Crosby was definitely playing in Canada's tournament opener against Sweden tomorrow, but all indications are that Crosby will be on the ice.
Obviously today was first time I skated with a group. I was skating on my own prior to that, so everything went well, and feel good from that standpoint. So yeah, there's been a lot of questions, a lot of how are you feeling the last 5 days, so I'm excited just to get in a routine here and get back to normal.
Yeah, obviously you're concerned about him. You never like to see anyone get hurt, but great sign that he looks so good out there. Looks ready to roll. Good sign.
Now, Team Canada is going to face off against Team Sweden tomorrow night in Montreal. The United States will take on Finland Thursday night.
Since moving to Brantford, the OHL's Brantford Bulldogs have been embraced by the city, and the club is giving back to show their appreciation for all the support. With the rising cost of groceries, the Bulldogs Foundation has partnered with Brant Food for Thought to provide a now daily nutrition program at Grandview School in Brantford. To fund programs like these, the foundation runs a 50-50 draw at Bulldogs games. The next big prize will be awarded on Monday, February 17th, at the club's Family Day game. Lisa Marshall runs the nutrition program at Grandview and is thankful for the support. You can get your 50-50 tickets online at bulldogsfoundation.com or just scan this QR code for your tickets. Catch the full story tonight on CHCH Evening News at 6.
Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs longtime PA announcer has died. Paul Morris was 86.
Toronto goal scored by number 8, Ellis.
There's Mano. He'll clear it as far as center.
Morris spent his entire working career at Maple Leaf Gardens in the sound department, as well as handling public address duties. His deadpan delivery is familiar to generations of Leaf fans. Morris was at the microphone the last time the Leafs won the Stanley Cup in 1967. The Toronto Maple Leafs posted on X last night, saying in part, Paul never missed a game from 1961 to 1999. He called the first game at the Gardens and was the first voice at Scotiabank Arena. His voice and legacy will forever echo in Leafs Nation.
All right, let's get going into this Tuesday morning, the 11th of February. Let's start with traffic, and then we'll get to our forecast for the day. Traffic, we have nothing to talk about. There's no volume. There's no collisions at the moment. Still some lingering construction. 403 Waterdown Road, it's getting a bit busier than it was last time we checked it, but still looks pretty good right now. To our MTO traffic cameras, usually start in St. Catharines and then come around the Horseshoe. Here's the QEW east of Lake, nothing there. Red Hill Creek still looks good. East of Brant, so Toronto bound towards us on that camera. Here's a look east of Royal Windsor. Same thing there. No problems. 427 Gardner QEW combination. Temperature this morning. We've just fallen a degree. Another one. Minus 13 is our temperature. Yesterday morning we were minus 8, so we were a lot milder, but minus 13 right now. The wind's thankfully light, west-southwest at 9, makes it feel like minus 19. It's cold stepping out there this morning. So we have partly cloudy skies at the moment. For school today, we are going to recover. We will climb to minus 2 for the day, which is about a seasonal temperature for this time of year. We got to minus 5 yesterday. We'll have sun clouds. We could get some flurries later this afternoon. Okay, what's happening here? High pressure ridge receding. What we're watching is a low pressure area moving out of the American Midwest. You can see the blue is the snow. We're going to get that starting later in the day tomorrow, possibly cycling into freezing rain as the temperature actually goes up throughout the overnight hours. And so it could be treacherous on the roads. We have special weather statements in effect. So minus 1 for Niagara, minus 2, minus 3, and minus 4 around the area. We'll get some sun, but there's that chance of flurries. Tonight, temperatures minus 9, minus 10 degrees for Niagara to Hamilton, minus 11 a little further afield, and minus 8 and 7 as you head around the rest of the Horseshoe. Tomorrow, we could get, well, just a little bit of sunshine in the morning. But temperatures tomorrow minus 2 to minus 4, well, minus 1 for Halton Peel. But tomorrow we'll start off with the bit of sun, and then the clouds move in, and then we start to see the snow later in the day. We could get a couple of centimeters late in the day tomorrow, but then it's tomorrow night when we could get that significant amount of snow into Thursday morning. So as you step out the door this morning, it is partly cloudy. The winds are light, but it is cold. Minus 13. Wind chill right now, minus 19. And we'll talk about the long-range forecast coming up. Annette, Emily.
Oh, it's looking chilly out there. Thanks, Brian. All right, coming up after the break, we'll say good morning to Louis Bucko with a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat. And the federal NDP made new election commitments, including imposing tariffs on Tesla EVs. We'll have those details in 2. Welcome back. Let's say good morning to our friend Louis Bucko, who is in for Emily V, who is out on assignment for the week.
Yeah, in La Belle Provence.
Yeah, she's having a great time, I think. I don't know. I haven't heard from her. Coming up in Chit Chat, lots coming up. A controversial 9-hour documentary on Prince will likely never see the light of day. And I'll tell you why. Ed Sheeran gets into some hot water with authorities while trying to perform in India. And even more names have been added to the star-studded lineup on the SNL 50th anniversary special that's happening this weekend.
It's a 3-hour show, I think, right?
It is a 3-hour show. It starts at 8 o'clock. It is live, too. And you can watch it here in Canada. I know there were some questions about that, but I'll tell you all the information coming up in Chit Chat.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Louis. All right, let's take a look at our numbers today. Our dollar is down 3 basis points to 69.78 cents U.S. Gold falls $3.30 an ounce this morning after surpassing the $2,900 mark due to tariff concerns. Crude is up 83 cents to $73.15 a barrel. In midday European trading, markets are down slightly in London and Paris, but up in Frankfurt.
In Asia, the markets today were up in Tokyo, but down in Hong Kong and Shanghai. North American markets, a positive day with tech companies leading stocks higher. That made the TSX gain more than 200 points. The Dow picked up 167, and the Nasdaq also added nearly 200 points. U.S. stock futures are down this morning because investors are looking at key inflation reports that are due later this week.
NDP leader Jagmeet Singh says Canada should charge 100% tariffs on Tesla vehicles as long as the trade war with the U.S. continues. Singh says he would revive the federal government's incentive program for electric vehicle purchases if the government were led by him. The Liberal government provided up to $5,000 off the cost of a new electric vehicle since May of 2019, but the funding for the program has since run out. Liberal leadership candidates are also promising to restore it. Burlington MP Karina Gould would double the incentives and include gas hybrid vehicles, while Mark Carney would limit the rebate program to people in low and medium income households.
Stock prices of American steel companies climbed sharply yesterday because investors assume that new U.S. steel tariffs on steel and aluminum imports are going to increase their profits. However, companies that rely on steel and aluminum in the States saw their share prices drop because the tariffs mean the cost of their raw materials is going to go up. Donald Trump says his tariffs will eventually enable more steel mills and aluminum plants to open in the United States to avoid the added costs.
Google says it's now called the Gulf of America. The company says its policy is to change names when they have been updated by official government sources. Trump changed the name through an executive order last month, and Google Maps is now reflecting that change. But users in Mexico will still see the name Gulf of Mexico. Everywhere else, users will see both of the names.
Okay, that's totally not right.
I know. I checked it out this morning.
It says be Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, Gulf of Mexico, brackets, Gulf of America below it.
All right.
Changes.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break right now while I steam some more. Brian's going to be back with traffic and your 7-day forecast right after this.
Good morning, 6:24 already on this Tuesday morning. Let's check into our MTO traffic cameras. St. Catharines, QEW, and 7th. Light volume, no problems on the roads this morning. Starting to get a little bit thicker here at the top of the Skyway. This is always an early spot to slow down as you go over toward North Shore Boulevard. East of 4th still looks good. Lorne Park through Mississauga. Dipping into the 403 through Mississauga. Erin Mills Parkway. Pretty light volume, so nothing going on this morning. Temperature right now, we were minus 12 before 6 o'clock, now minus 13 with a wind chill of minus 19, so don't be fooled. It's a cold start to our morning. Minus 11 Mississauga, minus 10 Grimsby, minus 8 for Toronto. But here's some good news. The seasonal temperatures for this time of year have just gone up by a degree. So yay, that bodes well, doesn't it? -1 for the daytime high, -9 for the overnight low now. Those are our sun times and records for today. And for school today, we should be -9 for the first bell. Mix of sun and clouds, and then still a bit of sun, but there's that chance of flurries for after school. And today's high is going to hit -2. So a milder temperature today than we did yesterday, but wind chill -4. Tonight down to -10. Wind chill, yeah, cold, about -16 to -19, depending on where you are. Tomorrow, -4. Wind chill, not too bad for the day tomorrow. And then we're looking at that snow settling in. Special weather statement in effect for just about all of southern Ontario. Talking about the snow beginning late in the day. We could get a couple of centimeters, but then it's overnight into Thursday that we could get in excess of 15 centimeters and then into some freezing rain. And look at Thursday. Windy, -1. There's that mixing precipitation. Good news for Valentine's Day. Sunshine and -6 on Friday, and then -2 and -4 for the weekend. It's your forecast. Annette, Emily.
Thanks, Brian. Just one more story before we take a quick break. As world leaders gather in Paris for a summit on artificial intelligence, a new AI-powered museum app is bringing art to life.
It's called Ask Mona, and it allows visitors to talk to masterpieces like the Mona Lisa. The app provides instant responses to questions like, why doesn't the Mona Lisa have eyelashes? Making museum visits more interactive. It's inspired by the Harry Potter novels, where characters could talk with painted portraits. The AI app brings historical and artistic figures to life through a QR code scan. Visitors can interact with virtual recreations as well of Victor Hugo, Napoleon, and the Pharaoh Ramses, receiving real-time responses generated by artificial intelligence. That is kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. I'm always torn on things like this because, I mean, AI, obviously some scare there, some danger there, but bringing more people into the museum, getting them engaged, always a good thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, lots more coming up. We're going to take a quick break.